Burr, it's cold this morning. So got a friend of mine, Todd. He's gonna help me today run the skid steer. I'm gonna be on the excavator. We're gonna start moving some mud. Well, I don't have to worry about mud. It's all frozen solid this morning. On the surface, at least. All right, well, that's all that's left of the fire. I'm gonna take that and finish burying that down there and cover it up with about 5 feet of pond mud. Looks like about a half a tree and 2 burnt ends. I showed Todd what to start moving up there, so he's gonna take the skid steer and go up there and start getting some of that mud I piled up. And I'm gonna work on transferring that pile of sticks and roots and mud and getting it all laid back here behind the pond dam. Pretty much just gonna make a big flat area back here out of it. Let's go get in the excavator where it's warm. And then once I realize we're gonna get all the mud out today, I'm gonna cap that overflow off so this thing will start filling up. There's the new overflow. I figure it'll take about a week to get up there at the rate it's filling up. Got the trash rack for that. Concrete to plug the old overflow. Gonna be a good day. All right, we are getting after it bright and early this morning. Gonna get all this roots and sticks and mud and junk. Pretty much all the rotten crap that I raked up that wouldn't burn and raked out the pond that the beavers had drug out there. I'm gonna take that and waste it down there in the bottom and then cover it up with mud and kind of track it all in. Since you really can't do anything else with it other than just kind of let it rot down, and it really won't do much of that. So put it back here where it doesn't matter and forget about it. Got him a little path cut through the woods to scoop up mud and haul it back there. You can't go down this edge, it's too wet. It won't hold up the skid steer. Plus it allows me to work right here out of his way, and he is out of my way. So I'll work on doing this while he moves that mud, and once he gets some more of that moved out, I can go down there and lay some more out, along with put the grading bucket on. I've got to regrade the spillway since they wanted to keep the water level about to where it was when the beavers had it plugged up, because it gave it a nice full look, but it was also running out the spillway instead of the overflow, so it was a little higher, so I lowered it down just a little bit, but that spillway is pretty flat, so I'm gonna actually go over there. I dug some dirt out before I left earlier this week. Justin and I put the overflow in so it would dry out a little bit, and I got the laser. I'll set that up and kind of regrade the spillway so that it will not be sitting in about 3 or 4 inches of water before it runs out there. Kind of dry it out a little bit so they can mow it. Kind of keep raking up. I want to rake up as many sticks and stuff as I can, just so as the pond fills back up, they're not floating and clogging up the overflow. It's going to have a screen on it, but still, all this stuff will get up there and plug it up, so it'll save them a little bit of work. There's still going to be some stuff, I can't get all of it, but whatever I can get will help them out tremendously. Hopefully everything that's left is waterlogged enough where it should stay submerged. I'm going to pull this bank back as well when I kind of grade everything else out and raise it up some. It's pretty low and looks like it'll stay pretty swampy and wet. pretty much cap the overflow and let this bad boy fill back up. I know they'll be glad to see it back full. It's kind of an eyesore, but it was an eyesore before I started clearing, so it's gonna look nice, I think, when it's all done, cleaned up around. This rake back here, and then I'll get a video when I start throwing it back here behind the pond dam and spreading it out. Alright, let's take some of these roots and topsoil and spread it out back here in the back. Kind of put it, I'm going to smother that tree out. I'm going to put some right there and put the rest back here. Dump it right there. Find a good place to get rid of this. Pack it down real good, and then put all that pond mud over top of it. It'll make it all disappear. Pretty much just building a cofferdam out of it. Rake up what's left and then bring it down here and pack it in place. That'll kind of keep this mud as we're dumping it from running down into the woods very far. Now I've come up here where he's scooping up the mud. I'm going to lay it up here a little bit on the bank a little better for him to come up here and scoop up. Clean out a little bit more of an area for me to go down there and finish digging the rest of that mud out. Piled up here. You remember, this is all the mud from the island I dug out. Dried out some. Still pretty nasty though. Gooey mud. scoop up, being up here on the shoreline, and pretty much all I gotta do is reach out there and grab what I can grab again. And that'll be about it. Quite a few bucketfuls to move. If the path holds up, it's getting pretty bad. He might just have to start taking it down there and dumping it as far as he can, and then I just transfer it back down the edge. Bury that behind the Devon Dam somewhere. I can't. That would have never burnt. Get rid of that in the woods. Alright, on transferring some mud back. Hey Todd, how's it going?
Not good.
How'd you end up sideways?
Just trying to get out the mud.
What mud?
Yeah.
People lied or didn't think I was telling the truth when I said we've got a lot of rain this year.
Yeah. I've seen Noah's Ark going down the road.
I guess you need me to come get you out then.
If you don't mind.
If you want to do anything the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So we're going to change up game plans. Instead of him trying to, well, I figured it'd be better up here through the woods where it hadn't been disturbed, but clearly that was not the case. I'm going to get him to bring it down here as far as he can, then I'll just transfer it the rest of the way. Every bit that he takes it, it's that much less farther I got to move it. Alright, well let me come up here and I guess dump that out, and I'll take the bucket and try to push you back that way, and then I can pull you backwards. Let's see if we can get the skid steer out. I'll push him back that way and then pull it out. Alright, you got to drive. Mess right there. Alright, stay out of that. Alright, so I put the grading bucket back on from the other day, and he's actually able to drive down this shoreline a lot farther than I thought he would be able to, but he can't make it up the hill, so I'm going to scoop up the mud. Saw I piled a bunch up there, and he's going to bring it down to here, and I can scoop it up and throw it over top of the pond dam back here and start filling in this area behind the dam with it. Bit he brings, every scoop he brings is about probably a half a scoop that I don't have to transfer down. So if we can at least do this till lunchtime, it'll get majority of the mud down here. Whatever's left, I might just have to transfer it down with the excavator. But that's going to be the last resort. That's a lot of wear and tear. I went up there and fueled and greased the machine, and just in that time he's already brought almost 2 dump truck loads down, so it's going to go pretty quick. Only got about 20 truck loads to move. Oh, splattered myself. Break this out, drive down here and take and spread that over there, and just kind of keep working my way out, fill all this in nice and smooth. The rest of it I can waste on the shoreline over there. So I'll kind of fill back here into this back corner. We've moved a lot of mud already. Kind of grade my way out as I go. Dries, it'll just pretty much be like another little part of the pond dam back here. It's really the best place to get rid of stuff because you can't really do anything back here anyways, and it's sloped off anyways. I'm gonna go up there and throw a little more mud out for him to scoop up, and then come down here and spread the pile out. I'm trying to grade up here in the head section now. I already cleaned out a little bit more down there to get a little bit more depth. Right there he's still moving mud. I don't know how much longer that's gonna last. It's getting almost impassable for the skid steer now, but you know, every little bit he moved is that much less I have to move. So even if we can only move mud for 3 hours, it still saved me a lot of scoops having to transfer it down there. But we'll work till the skid steer keeps getting stuck. So where it's taking longer to get it unstuck than it is to move mud, call it a day, load that up, and I'll finish transferring everything with just the machine and kind of dressing it up as I'm doing right here. Right now my main goal is to get everything out of the pond here today so that before I leave I can go down there and cap that overflow pipe and let the pond start filling up. And if I have to come back later on once this dries out a little bit more and finish grading it, I can do that, and then the pond will be full and I'll know pretty much where the water level is, and I can grade up that and kind of make everything a little bit nicer. But this bucket sure does make cleanup work and smearing everything around a breeze. Uh-oh, the skid steer's kind of stuck. I'm about to hit a tree. So I added a little bit right there just to raise that up. It was pretty shallow. Want to make sure it was out of the pond enough. Now I'm just kind of smearing it around, not really filling in a lot around these trees, maybe a few inches, and just getting everything back level where I piled mud up, cleaned up where he can pretty easily bush hog it. I think I'm getting it smooth enough to bush hog. Plus, by putting 2 or 3 inches down this shoreline, I'm saving from having to transfer. I kind of figured maybe half and half. Half goes behind the pond dam, the other half can go up here. That way I don't have to move so much, and it kind of grades this out, makes this a nicer spot. Here's that tree. Tedious doing this, but just make sure you don't have to go back through there because it'll rut it up and destroy everything you just took time to grade out nice and pretty. It's like spreading icing on a cake. That is pretty much what it's like doing. Spread this gooey stuff around. Probably let that dry and just throw a little grass seed on it just to kind of help hold it throughout the winter. It was about a month or so ago, the leaves would have fell on it, covered it up nice and pretty. Go get the leaf blower and blow them out of the woods onto it. Alright, that's graded out. Got unstuck. I'm going to come down here and reach out here as far as I can and grab the mud. Pretty much everything out there where that water is at least the depth I need it to be, so I'm not too worried about trying to make it look nice and pretty. Just trying to get out the yardage I priced, and which I'm probably taking out a little bit more, but it needs it. Put it up here on the shoreline and waste it out. Just not going going to be any walking up here no time soon. So I'm back on original ground there. I can feel the solid earth there below the mud. Grab this pile right here because that's what's going to be sticking up out of the water once the pond's full. Get that up here where I can reach it. Might have to go in over there a little bit farther to grab that, but we're going to move mud till, like I said, the skid steer, he's only moving it probably 100 feet now because it's gotten so wet he can't go any farther. But that's 100 feet, I don't have to move it. And we'll probably work another hour or so, load that up. I'll take him back with the skid steer and I'll come back, just use the excavator to finish transferring all this out, get done whatever I get done. Well, probably when I get back go ahead and cap it because I've about got all the mud that I need out of the pond. Let this bad boy start filling up. Move over and finish digging the rest of that mud out and getting it up here on the bank. Look, I got me somebody to shovel the tracks. I guess he felt so guilty he got it so muddy. I don't know, where'd you get in that mud at, Todd?
I have no idea.
Were you grading with both ends?
Yeah. Can't get it going.
I looked over there at one time, you were 3 foot deep in the front and 2 foot in the back, looking at me like, help. Well, we got 3 hours worth of skid steering in and decided that we skid steered all that was going to skid steer. But we moved probably half of it. I just transferred the rest with the excavator, so.
Shovel works extra.
That's right. But your ride home's free. Alright, let's get this chain down and back to the house. I'll come back after I drop him off and finish moving mud. Alright, so I got the skid steer taken back and it's just me now, so I'm going to hop on back on the excavator and transfer everything that he piled up right there down. And as you can tell, that's probably going to just about fill in the area back here that I was going to fill in, and then I'll take the rest of it. This is real low right here. I'll take the rest of it and pull this bank back and fill this in so that this is up out of the water a good little ways, and hopefully it'll stay a little bit drier. Time to play transfer the mud. There's absolutely no other way to do this other than just throw it 3 or 4 times and get it down there. Luckily I only have about maybe 2 more cuts after this, and then it's just move it, grade it out as I go. The ground just turns to quicksand the more you drive over it, so you just got to stay in one spot, throw as much as you can, and then track down and move it again. But at least I'm getting 2 yards every time I make a scoop. Luckily we probably moved about half of it with the skid steer before we had to abort. At least I can get all this down there. This is the nastier stuff that was kind of come out around that island. It's got a lot of roots and junk in it. And I can take that cleaner mud and sand and spread it over top. It'll kind of dress up a little nicer. But I'm just trying to cast it as far as I can when I spin around. It's heavy, it's picking the whole machine up when I throw it out there. Alright, now I'll drive up there and rake some more back, and then that'll probably be enough. I can probably, on the second cut after this one, kind of pull that bank back and grade it all in here as I go. Since you have so many trees, I can't really spin around. I'm going to pull this back, go in there, and then cut that area right there out. But I want to get this back over here, that way I can kind of see the shoreline a little bit better, and I'll know where to stop cutting that slope at. But this is definitely the sloppiest of the mud right here. Like I said, it will dry out and be very nice material, but it was kind of like that stuff I dug out last week and spread up there. We could walk on it Tuesday. I did that last Saturday. Shoot, we were able to walk on it when Justin and I come up here Tuesday and put the overflow in. I'll rake this out. I need to go ahead and take that stump down there, that way I got room to bury it. Get rid of that. That big blob of mud and roots would never burn, so I just left it up here. Nasty stuff. Glad when I'm done moving mud. Take everything you know about moving dry dirt, throw it out the window. It's a whole different animal. This is going to dry out quite as quick, though. It's got a lot more clay in it versus that sand. I tried to take it and spread the sand out up there where she wants to be able to drive her golf cart around here. And she will be able to, just probably next summer. Go up there and lay a little bit more mud out and finish transferring this down there to behind the pond dam. Then on the final cut, I'll make it and start grading everything out, working my way out of here. I'm trying to finish up grading the edge of the pond up here. It's proving to be a little difficult because I keep trying to slide in and I've got no place to pile up mud. So I'm having to dump it in between the trees here and then rake it back out. don't have many options here. Just trying to get this pond bank back to the way it was before I drove down in there to take the island out. I'm trying to grade it out because I can't really drop back down in here again. It's so wet and muddy. The mud's so darn soft that I've been having a hard time trying to keep it on the bank. I think I can spin around without hitting that tree. Let me cut the camera on. Close we are. I got a little bit of room, not a lot. I think if I grade this right here out, I can get on the other side of it and still be able to reach it. It's like painting yourself into a corner here. Yeah, I'm actually leaning this much. I'm sitting level. The machine's leaning that much. Trying to get this somewhat decent looking while trying not to slide out to the pond. It's being slightly challenging. I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't be able to get it looking this nice without this tilt bucket though. To the top of the tracks here, slope sideways down here in the pond. Let's see if I can get out now. Oh, swing, 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 here we go. I got it now, I think. All right, I can reach all that now. Start at the top of the bank here and grade everything down to water level. That way I'll know how much mud I can waste in the ruts I made. I think I might be able to dig a little more out and pile up right here. It's gonna be nice, this little bank right here going down to the pond. Take that mud, dump it right there. Big chunk of wood. Make it disappear and only we'll know about that. Good. I can get a little scoop of mud from right here to finish filling in those ruts. When this section is done, I'll tell them not to even attempt to come over here with anything until next spring. The bank is. grade it out. I'll grade this back a little bit more and hopefully I'm setting the camera. I'm getting all this smeared around and graded out. So as you can tell, the island used to be out there, and I transferred all the mud to the bank, and I've dipped all that out. We've hauled that, and I'm taking what's left and throwing it back as I go and grading it out. But now, since I pretty much have all the mud out from up there, I'm going to go ahead and go plug the overflow pipe, just so it'll start filling up some while I'm here, and kind of make sure everything's okay. But you can see the water flowing from where I dug out to there. I bet in the probably 2 or 3 more hours I'm going to work here that it'll fill up enough where that'll be equalized. So find out. I'm going to go down here and dig out around the pipe and get it where I can cut it off and fill it up with concrete. Well, I bet a lot of you are wondering how I was going to get this pipe plugged without getting soaking wet. Well, all you gotta do is just build a cofferdam around it, dip the water out. We'll take the Sawzall, cut that off flush, fill that with concrete, and glue a cap on it. Then cover it back up with dirt. Alright, I got a half a 5-gallon bucket of concrete mixed up. I'm going to start pouring it down in there. I made it nice and runny, so it should run down the horizontal pipe a fair amount. And then whenever it fills up, once it gets all the way up to the top, I'll know it's plugged, and then I can cap it, and it will never leak again. You mix it up like a slurry, it'll run down that pipe a long ways. Oh yeah. Bucket number 3. Stuff is pretty much like flowable fill. Keep filling it up. Alright, well I got 180 pounds of concrete poured down that pipe. It was only about 4 feet to the turn, so one bag should have filled up the whole entire standpipe. So I should have it filled back probably 8 feet or so. That's about a foot from the top. It's got some water in it. And yeah, I'm about out of breath here. The little cofferdam, the bucket settled down and it started to leak, so I had to run up there and fix that back real quick. But for what it's worth, I'm going to glue a cap on the end. The water's not going anywhere, so should be good. Clean that off a little bit, glue that on there, cover it up with dirt, and it should be plugged. And that's capped, so shouldn't be any water coming out on the back. I'll walk down to the back side and check it out real quick and clean up my mess here, and I'll bury that, and we'll never know that there was another drain in here. There's the new one right there. I got a trash rack sitting in the truck for it. And there we have it. Just a little drip from what's left in the pipe running out. Should be no more water coming out of that. All the new water should come out the new pipe. I'll get this graded out. I got a little seed and straw to put on this slope right here just so it doesn't erode. We'll finish moving mud. Well, that's how you turn a ugly mess into something pretty. Keep digging it out, smearing it along the edge. So what it was, this edge was pretty low anyways, and it was flooded out up there. So I'm cutting the pond a little bit deeper to build the bank up and just kind of grading it all into the shoreline to match, kind of creating a nice level shelf all the way around the edge there. Like a glove, how to keep any trash from clogging the pipe up. So I got a little seed and straw out over top of the dam here where the overflow is. I'm gonna come back next weekend and maybe let this will dry out a little bit. But I got that whole entire edge done. So pretty much everything is dredged out and graded all the way down the bank here. Ended up putting probably half or 3/4 of the mud back here behind the pond dam where I was burning at. I filled that hole in, and that's probably 5 feet deep of mud right there. So it was a good spot to get rid of it. Boy, that looks a lot better. And the overflow is capped, so it should start filling up. And I don't know if it'll be full by next weekend, but it should it'll probably come up 2 feet, I would say. It might be full, really depends on if it rains or not. So there it is, almost done.